Hello my sweet friends, welcome to DIY with Nadia and welcome to another Wreath Wednesday. Today I'm making a Dollar Tree Bubble Method Deco Mesh Wreath and it's a summer themed wreath. Let's get started. So today we are making a really fun summer wreath and we are using some leftover Christmas and Easter deco mesh from the Dollar Tree. So I'm using red, white, and this light blue. You are going to need 2 of each. Then you are going to need this 14-inch metal wreath form from the Dollar Tree. I use this little board because I like my loops to be 8 inches. Also, you're going to need some pipe cleaners. I like to use zip ties either for the whole wreath or at least for the beginning and the ending, so those are really nice and secure. But that's up to you. You can still use the pipe cleaners for that also. I'm going to show you the piece that kind of got those colors started. I saw this, I was like, ooh, red and white and blue. That might be really unique. And so that is why I chose those colors. But I got this little board from the Dollar Tree. I think it's really cute. We are going to decorate it just a tiny bit and secure all that glitter in place a little later. I'm going to start with my pipe cleaners and I'm just going to cut them in half. When I usually do curly wreaths or something like that, like I'm dealing with small one, or even the Nadia Technique wreath, I'll insert that in the description box. I usually take my pipe cleaners and cut it into 1/3, but for this I want to be a little bit more comfortable because we're going to be layering the mesh. When I unroll these, as you can see, it's kind of unrolling down, not up. So just kind of push it down and then let that go. I'm going to take the next one, put it right on top. We're going to just give it an inch, inch and a half, and bring it in. Grab your zip tie. I really encourage using a zip tie at least for the beginnings and the endings. I'm going to push it in between the second and third row. And I'm going to zip tie it in place. And when I zip tie the first one, it's going to be on this intersection, but it only in one row because I want to make sure that it's really secure. I tied it right here and I just tied it on this intersection, as you can see right here. Because when I'm going to make the other loops, I'm going to tie them around both the second and the third row. But any endings and, you know, and beginnings of rolls, you want to tie it to a single row. To get started with my loops or my bubbles, we're basically making a bubble and the bubble goes up. And that is why this is called the bubble method. So I'm going to start at 1, go to 8 inches right here, bring it together, bubble it up, and we're going to connect it. For today's Wreath Wednesday, I'm being joined by Lisa Marie from Living My Best Life with Lisa Marie. She is a very, very dear friend of mine. Lisa is amazing doing thrift flips and all kinds of farmhouse DIYs, faith DIYs, modern, rustic. She has it all and she also has lots of holiday ideas for you. Please visit her channel. Let her know I said hello. I will link it in the description box below. And if you're visiting from Lisa's channel, welcome. It is so nice that you stopped by. Now, let's finish up the wreath.
Okay, so here are the numbers you need to remember. Each one of our bubbles is going to be 8 inches long. And in each section, there are 6 sections in this wreath. There's going to be 6 bubbles. Usually, a roll is enough for half of the wreath, so 3 of these sections. So here we are. I have one section finished.
I'm going to like make sure all of these are very nice and tidy afterwards, but I have 6 loops right here, and I'm going to move on to the next section. I'm just securing the bubble in place with a chenille wire or with a pipe cleaner. I'm done with half of the wreath, plus I did 2 loops or bubbles in the following section. But now I'm going to cut it off, and I'm kind of generous with this. You want to give it like 2-3 inches. You can always cut off the excess later. And then let me start this part, and we're going to overlap this together for a nice secure connection. Going to bring it together, and I'm going to put this one on the inside, and basically we're going to crisscross them. You see? And then around the 3rd row or the 2nd one, it doesn't matter, just put a zip tie through it and tie it down. Now, if you feel like it's too much, too extra, you could either shove it down or cut it off. I know that it's really tight with my zip tie, so I don't mind cutting it down just a little bit more. And we're just going to hide this part when we open these 2 sections up. Well, this should show you that not all Deco mesh from the Dollar Tree is created equal. So this is how much of the blue that's left. Let me see here, because I have 1 more loop that I'll be doing. So basically, this is how much of the blue. This is how much of the red. So pretty significant amount. And this is how much of the white. I'm like, really? I could have made it fuller and added extra loops. But I mean, I have enough loops. I did, you know, more than enough. But I'm just, you know, I'm like, that stinks. So I'm getting my 8 inches right here, and I'm going to cut the excess off. There you go. Trying to do it with my left hand. It's a little awkward here. I'm ambidextrous, but I don't cut with my left hand though. There you go. Leo, you're not making things easier for me over here. As you can see, I have security to my left over here. My supervisor. All right, we're going to bubble it up. And I'm first going to just shove it down. Just kind of pull it through. I'm sorry, I hit the camera stand over here, but I'm going to pull it through, and I'm going to crisscross it just like I crisscrossed on the other side. And by the way, you can't even, Leo, thank you. You can't even tell almost where it is, but it's like right there. But I'm going to crisscross these and attach it. The next thing I'm going to do is to open all of these up. And the way I do it in this situation where I have 3 different colors and things like that is I'll really just take turns where the colors are going. So if I'm starting with blue, then I'll go to white here. The red will be in the middle and the blue will be on the other side. And just kind of alternate them. All right, now let's work on the sign. I'm going to take this part off right here. Move that to the side. And the first thing I want to do is I want to grab a brush that's kind of, I don't want to say it's rigid, but it's not the softest brush. And what I want to do is I really want to just kind of brush off any of the excess glitter that's around. And then when I'm starting with my Mod Podge, I'm going to start with the areas that don't have the glitter,
because that glitter is going to catch on and go everywhere. So I'm kind of just doing the areas without the glitter. I already see that I'm picking some up. All right, and now it's time to Mod Podge all that glitter, and I'm gonna go nice and thick. And once that dries, we're going to put it on top of the wreath. Now I'm going to let the Mod Podge dry, and I'm going to add one more element to this sign before we put it on the wreath. All right, my Mod Podge is nice and dry, and I'm grabbing some nautical rope. There is this beach chair that has brown in it, and I don't know, I just wanted to make it just a little bit more beachy, I guess, or nautical. So I'm grabbing this rope. First thing I'm going to do is measure how much I need. And I'm cutting off about 1 inch more than I actually need. I'm going to start and end on a side. Now I'm just making sure that my craft space is safe. I'm going to grab my lighter over here. This is more of like a torch. Putting it down all the way down. And I'm just going to cinch this off. And what this does is it gets all these loose little ends. Please use caution during this part or just skip this step. Okay. Starting from the side, grabbing my rubber fingers for safety, I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue right there. And what I do is just kind of twist it so it doesn't get loose when you're trying to hot glue it. Okay, now my wreath is ready, and then I have this little centerpiece on top, and look at this. It is going to look so good. I'm so excited. I'm grabbing 2 more of these, and I'm just going to attach on the sides right there. And by the way, that rope did cover the holes on the top of the sign, and I always do this. 2 fingers, put it down, and then more hot glue on top, and I'm telling you, this stays secure like no one's business. Like it really, really does. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side, and then we're going to attach. Okay, both of my connections are nice and dry. I'm just going to flip it over and just attach right to the wreath form. I have to tell you something. I have done, I don't know what, hundreds of wreaths, but I have never have I ever done a coastal wreath with red. I've always used, you know, beiges and blues and whites and just beautiful bright colors, but just never red. And you know what? I love it. I love the I don't know, the brightness of it, and just, oh, I think it's gorgeous. Okay, so I ended up attaching on the 4th ring right here. The sign itself is quite large, so it needed, so I had to do that. But you know what? I am absolutely loving this red. I'm loving how bright, how happy it is. Let me know down below if you've ever used red in a coastal or a nautical theme for a wreath, because I just never ended up doing that, and I am absolutely loving it. And this is it for today's Wreath Wednesday. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys. Mwah.